What's up, YouTube? This is Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, and I'm bringing you another video promoting the Yoga for Sorcerers program, but also giving you some value about yoga and your yoga journey. You should know these things. Yoga is going to come in incremental changes. You know, one of the things that I do or that I emphasize with the sorcerers, because they're meditators. So if you don't do sorcery, you don't have to be discouraged about the program. It's a progression of classes. Pretty methodical. You know, I have systems. I have ways of describing the anatomy and the physiology, the breathing, and how it's going to open up your body and open up the energy and your perception of energy, so you get more sensitive about things like body language, about your imagination. When are you thinking? When is your body reacting to your thinking? When are you picking up subtle frequencies in the area? Or, you know, I'm preparing the practitioner for those more sensitive mental practices. So what you should know, and what the people even in the program should know, is that the progress is going to come incrementally, just in small kind of breakthroughs, so to speak. Some will be big breakthroughs, but it'll be a lot of small breakthroughs that you must find a love for the practice that's just kind of below the techniques of it. So you're not just in it for the techniques, memorizing techniques and chasing postures, chasing abilities, or just doing it to get done with it so that you can do the next thing afterwards. You know, sometimes it's not a bad vice compared to other vices if you just need your yoga to feel good about yourself in your skin. So that's how I started. Like, I didn't feel good in my body, and I was detoxing my body, and I would use the yoga stretches and breathing to just literally feel good in my skin, in my body. When you feel good in your body, a lot of problems, a lot of frustrations resolve on their own. There's nagging body image issues and, you know, stagnant circulation that's affecting your state of mind. But as you get into it, if you're overly attached to achieving a certain pose or, you know, anything on the outside, like the glory of it, or, you know, even the effects that it creates. I am definitely in love with the effects that I create in my own system using yoga. But I guess I'm so good at it and it's so predictable that I'm not chasing it anymore. It's an expectation. I know it will feel that good. What I'm doing is the real deeper yoga practice of uniting with the self, observing as much as I can my own mental fluctuations, finding contentment and just timelessness in this temporary practice, while intelligently manipulating my joints and tissues and breathing so that when I'm done with the practice, I do feel good. But I already know that's a given. And that's what you learn in the Yoga for Sorcerers program, is gentle approaches to mobility in all of the main joints, these little practices and things that I have discovered and that I've learned, and how I systematize them together so that I have complete practices and not just focusing on one body part or this or that. How to implement breathing and introduce it to the stretching practice. If you already breathe, how to introduce stretching into your practice, elongating muscles. And there are many things that, you know, a person can do with their body that you need openings before that. It's not the first thing that you go to. There's a progression, and depending on where you're at, you may start later in the progression, but there's always like a next progression. And the process of opening your nervous system and opening your senses, clearing out your senses and opening your sensitivity to small fluctuations in your senses is, again, incremental. The relaxation and getting content with yourself, where you can sit still or lay still and just breathe and relax. And that's literally a thing that people have difficulty doing. And even if you've been meditating a long time, sometimes you just get anxious or restless or bored and you can't handle that. Like, there's a lot of ability. You have abilities on the other side of that anxiousness, on the other side of that tension, that I can help you get to, you know, incrementally, just through doing one step and then the next step and then the next step, instead of just like forcing the process on yourself, which can create aversion. It can, where you don't want to do it, basically. And it could also definitely create bad habits. So that's why you want a teacher. And that's the main thing I wanted to share with you all. It's a very simple idea. We have over 40 classes in the Yoga for Sorcerers program now, complete classes. So they're being grouped now into sections where you can learn more deeply aspects of the yoga practice. If you want more of alternate nostril breathing, if you want more of sun salutations and opening the hamstrings, if you want more of backbending and facing that fear response, that panic response that, you induce in your body when you're backbending, stretching your back, going backwards. It's funny, backbending, you don't stretch your back, you stretch your front to bend backwards. It's a funny word about it. And that's that, okay? Now, one of the main benefits that people are seeing in the Yoga for Sorcery program is enjoyment of their body. This is like the main feedback I hear from people, is they didn't know that they would enjoy their body so much. And it sounds kind of weird to say it like that. Let me say it like this. They're discovering what they can do with their body. Mobility, rotating the thigh this way or that way. It's just amazing. You're like a kid again. And that's so healthy and healing for your psychology and your nervous system to go back to that playful state of just exploring body movement, interesting ways to cross your legs, cross your arms, touch knee to elbow, like just so many things that you wake up your senses. You're not aware of a lot of your body until something goes wrong with your body. Until there's an ant or a fly that lands on your skin, and then all of a sudden you realize you had skin there. Like, it's just kind of, you turn numb to your body, you're in your head. And to not just awaken the body, but get really interested in what the body can do is going to really prepare a person for meditation. I can tell you from my experience, although I don't practice sorcery, but I practice transcendental meditation, the ability to not just sit still, but relax your hips without getting aching knees, achy ankles, achy hips. The ability to sit straight without effort so that you're not slouching over and you get pain in your back or your neck, or you close off your own breathing, or you fall asleep because when your head falls forward and it cuts off, certain blood, and you don't get enough to your head and you just get more tired. Like the ability to sit up, you feel the energy going up the spine much more easily. But that's just small awareness of joints. It's not effort, it's mobility so that the spine can realign itself effortlessly. And it's just awareness. You get awareness of your ribs. You get awareness of your shoulder blades. You find a better way to situate your bones on top of each other that ends up being more effortless than even just sitting passively. Because when you sit passively and you slouch and your head goes, there is still muscle tension in the back and it's distracting. And in the long run, you see people that meditate for a long time, if they don't practice yoga postures well, they have crooked spines. Meditators have crooked spines because they're sitting crooked and they're hardening around that crookedness. And they could still be so peaceful and empathetic. I mean, look at Eckhart Tolle. You could be like as enlightened as that guy. But, that's what happens when you don't mobilize your spine and, sit with, erectness. Like how would a skyscraper be all bent? How integrated would it be? How, functional would it be? How inefficient it would be, if it didn't have straight lines for the water to flow and everything. So we don't have straight lines with the spine. The spine's always going to have a curve, but you want balanced forces in your spine so that you're not being pulled forward or back, left or right. You don't want leaning in your sitting because leaning is inducing mental activity, and mental activity, in fact, is inducing the leaning. So it's this feedback that kind of keeps it perpetuating. So when you drop all the tension, relax, and you relax in a stable seated center, then you're more perceptive of energies. You're not distracted by the sensations of bad posture. And then you do your mental practices and everything comes from a more potent, centered place. So this is the video blog for today. Sign up for Yoga for Sorcerers in the link below. I also have the Silent Flute Mindset Mentorship in the link below, and then all of my playlists and everything linked below. Shout out Josiah, IMC Josiah Cygnus, who posts these videos and everything. And shout out to my comrade Frank White for opening up his group to this kind of yoga. I think it's top in the world. Maybe not the best in the world, it's just like world class when it comes to the physicality. And, of course, I learned so much of my mindset from my teacher, Arash Dibazar. The science of the mind comes from L. Ron Hubbard, Jai Guru Dev, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and so many lineages to all the teachers that, ever helped me. You who follow me get the best of them. I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.